Just Mr. Sutherland.
Just Mr. Just Mr.
They charge me $6,000 for all of them things and I need help to pay them. I want to start one fund for me right now to pay them something, please.
Blessed people, good day to you all. So people, today we are talking about Popcaan's fine that he paid when he went to court today in St. Thomas. Because you know, some people I say, oh, the fine so small. Some people I say, because him name or him name, why him pay that the little bit of fine there. Or because him have big lawyer, make him not pay no big money and so on. What people have to understand, you know, the law is the law. And all the fines that come with the different offenses are set by the lawmakers. You understand, people? It does not work on emotions or what people would want him to pay based on how his behavior seems. He has to be fined according to the offenses that were committed. And the offenses that he had pleaded guilty to are all petty session matters. They are minor offenses, people. The only offense that would carry a large fine for the entertainer would be breaching the Noise Abatement Act. You understand, people? That aspect of it would carry a larger fine. Maybe he could pay 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. Or even more, depending on the judge. Breaching the Noise Abatement Act can cost him even $1 million. So that are the big charge, people, you get me? So these offenses that he pleaded guilty to are all petty session matters. These matters are normally tried by justice of the peace. Matters like indecent language, abusive and calumnious language, threat and so on and so forth. Most of the times, those matters are tried in the petty session court by a justice of the peace. But however, breaching the Noise Abatement Act is a different ball game. You understand, people? That carry a complete different weight. That carry a completely different fine. So the fact that Popcaan paid $6,000, people, is not surprising to me, or is not surprising to any other person who has knowledge of the fines that these offenses come with. Because Popcaan plead guilty to the offenses. He was never denying that he had committed the offenses. And you know, Popcaan have him legal representation. As also, the fact that he pleaded guilty, you know, say automatically he's entitled to a certain level of leniency. So even if they would have charged him for one of the offense, 3,000, them would charge him 1,500 because him no waste the court time. Him got there and him plead guilty and he accepted responsibility for his action. So people, the fact that he was fined $6,000 in total for the 4 offenses which he had pleaded guilty does not mean that it's because his case is a special case or is the fact that him have him big liar them. You understand, people? No, it's just what the law says. And until the lawmakers change the fine for these offenses, because the fines that come with these offenses have been on the books for years, and it has been a while since these fines have been revised. Because you have fines on the book because literally $20, you have some fines on the book because even $2 and them not change. Those offenses have been there for so many years and the fines have not been updated. So there are a lot of offenses which you would never believe the fine is so small. So people, the fact that he had pleaded guilty, that means it is a conviction against his name. So even though the fine is small, it has your name on the book as a person who has been convicted already for committed such and such a breach. Whilst it might seem funny for now, people, if you are in this situation and in future you should happen to get yourself into other problems with the law which would require a social inquiry report to decide your fate, whether you would go to prison for another offense or you would be put on suspended sentence. The fact that you were convicted already would come up and it would prove that you are a lawbreaker because you have been convicted. One of Popcaan's lawyer also said in a news report that Popcaan is being targeted by the Jamaican police.
My name is Matthew Hyatt. I'm one of the attorneys representing Mr. Sutherland along with Mr. Bert Samuels. And today we entered a plea of guilty to 4 of the 5 charges. He was fined a total of $6,000, $1,500 on each count, according to the Town and Communities Act. And we explained to court that we're taking responsibility for our actions and that Mr. Sutherland is a great member of St. Thomas. He has held Unruly Fest for several years. This is his 3rd staging, attracting over 6,000 persons. And it is unfortunate that the event was ended in the manner it was. But of course, tempers flared and emotions ran high. And, in the initial outset, he said manners and respect to the police officers. And of course, it brings into sharp focus the issues relating to the Noise Abatement Act, because entertainers in Jamaica are not being granted the opportunity to have their events free, within the spaces and confines of Jamaica. We see events being held in Europe, for example, where they have proper space for their events, and we don't have that in Jamaica. But Mr. Sutherland has certainly been a target of the JCF for several years now. He has matters even before the court relating to the JCF, and so we can understand why he reacted in the manner he reacted. But we have pleaded guilty, and we will be back before the court on February 9, 2024, relating to the issue of the Noise Abatement Act, because the permit that was granted to Unruly Fest was not granted to Mr. Sutherland. I can't speak more on that matter because it's a matter that is before the court, and it is a matter that we will have to discuss further.
Popcaan was even given the opportunity to apologize to the police officers for his action on that night, and he refused, according to what the newspaper says. Just a word of advice for some persons who might think that, me can just tell the police them anything, because when me go to court, me go pay one little money and me go walk free and laugh. Remember, puss and dog not have the same luck. And if you get convicted, and remember, this is an offense that comes with prison time also. So if you don't pay the fine, you can end up in prison. But people, if you are an habitual offender, meaning something you go court and you pay for it, you go back to court again, you pay for it, you do it again and you keep on do it one at a time, you might find yourself and do some time in a prison. Because if the fact say you pay the fine is not stopping you from committing the offenses, what will happen is that they will send you to prison. So people, what you have to do is just try and be reasonable at all times. Do not act out of proportion. And as we say, people, Popcaan's fine is what was expected for those offenses. It was not expected for him to pay a big sum of money for committing those petty session offenses. The biggest fine Popcaan will have to pay is the money that he'll have to pay to his lawyers, because the maximum fine for all of those offenses will never add up to the amount that he has to pay for his attorney. So anyway, people, remember to like, share, subscribe. Peace.
Sam, go on.